Of the community in Rochester gathering to rally and call for charges for a woman seen using racial slurs.
Oh, Minnesota, you beautiful frozen tundra of moral grandstanding. Here we go again.
Yeah, it's been a week now since this happened, and it really keeps growing here. The emotions keep growing, and the response keeps growing.
Activists in Minnesota are out here clutching their pearls, demanding that Shiloh Hendrix be charged with a crime for having used the N-word. A crime! Can you believe this? These people are so fragile, they're basically walking Fabergé eggs with victim complexes. One word, one single syllable, and their entire existence crumbles like a stale cookie.
Honestly, the incident itself was horrific, accosting a child and then apparently prideful about it. But the fundraising after has just really thrown folks for a loop, including myself.
Whatever happened to sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Remember that? We used to teach kids that in kindergarten. A little inner strength. Now we've got grown adults acting like a word is a Molotov cocktail thrown through their living room window.
Our city is facing a crisis that has become far too familiar. Hate crimes and acts of racism are on an uptick in our community.
Weak. These are weak people, folks. The kind who'd faint if you said boo too loud. Boo. Get a spine, Minnesota. And let's talk about what this is really about. A full-throttle, pedal-to-the-metal assault on our First Amendment, my most beloved. These activists aren't just mad about a word, they're mad that they can't control every word.
Justice needs to be more than a word right now. It needs to become a standard. Okay?
The First Amendment is like a giant middle finger to their dreams of being the moral police, the high priests of what you can and cannot say, the kings and queens of wokeness. They want to obliterate free speech because it's the only thing standing between them and their fantasy of being the ultimate arbiters of righteousness. They're not here to debate, they're here to dictate. And they're coming for your tongue, folks, to lock up your vocabulary. Now let's say, for the sake of argument, that there is such a thing as hate speech. Fine. You know who I don't want deciding what counts as hate speech?
Well, we want her to be prosecuted, and we want to continue spreading love. You got to spread love.
These people. These are the last folks that I would trust to adjudicate anything. They're out here acting like they've got a PhD in morality, but they're just a bunch of sanctimonious do-nothings who get their significance from suffocating us by throwing their moral blanket every time they see a fire of words. They'd probably call good morning hate speech if you said it with the wrong inflection.
It was really a mockery towards black slaves and them making fun of what they did to their people when someone was hung, killed, or sold off to a different plantation. So that was their way of being funny. Did you have a good morning? Did you have a good cry about that person's death? Did you have a good cry about your daughter being taken away from you and sold off somewhere else? Did you have a good cry of your brother being hung yesterday? That was their way of being funny. Good morning, everyone.
No, thank you. I would rather let a room full of drunk grandfathers at a barbecue decide what's offensive, because at least they try to be honest about it. And here's the kicker. If they're going to arrest Shiloh Hendrix for having uttered the N-word, they'd better be clearing out some serious prison space. They're going to have to lock up every single black dude in the hood. Every rapper dropping tracks in a studio, and every black guy that I've ever had the pleasure of playing pickup basketball with. Hell, I've been on courts where the N-word is flying like it's part of the playbook. Nobody is calling the cops on us. You want to enforce this equally? Good luck. you'll need a SWAT team at every recreation center from Minneapolis to St. Paul. Spoiler alert, they're not gonna do that. Equal enforcement, that's not what they're about. That's not the vibe, baby. Because this isn't about fairness, folks. It's about power. These activists, they don't want equality. They want everybody to bow down to their moral framework, their little totalitarian sandbox where they get to make all the rules. It's not about justice, it's about control. They want you to tiptoe ever so gently around their feelings, to seek refuge in their ideology, in their safe space, or else. It's a shakedown dressed as compassion, and what they're taking are our freedoms. And deep down, you know that this is what it's really about. They love to punish people. It makes them feel big, it makes them feel powerful. Nothing says, I'm important, like being able to ruin someone's life over a single word. These are not activists, they're bullies with a cause and deep-seated hurt. So Minnesota, baby, take a deep breath. Put down the pitchforks and maybe, just maybe, grow some thicker skin. Because if you're gonna cry this hard over a word, you're not ready for the real world. And Shiloh Hendrix, I don't know you, but you do have the right to speak, and if it sends these wannabe totalitarians into their little tailspins, well, all the better. Meanwhile, Israelis and other peoples around the world wake up in the middle of the night because malevolent murderers are firing rockets at them or climbing walls with the intention to get to them and chop off their heads. Meanwhile, these big, bad MLK wannabe crybabies are tossing and turning over a word. Now I gotta go. I gotta take on one of my boys on the court. He's one of my best friends. He's my nigga.
Go in, motherfucker.
Talk fast, that's okay. You're 1 for 15. 1 for your last 15. Congratulations, that's pretty good. I'd be proud too. I'd be talking trash if I scored 1 to 15.
Did you look at his collar? I did that.